Let's have a great week, Warriors. How you doing? I'm Dale Pinkert, TradeGATEHub.com, sponsored by TradeView Markets. This is the most important chart to me this week. If the dollar could manage a breakout over this downtrend line over 102.80-ish, I think that we're going to have a continuation move that could take us above the old high at 105.5. It's also possible that if we break down and take out this low, that this could be the final thrust, but you'll know because you'll not only have a technical breakout at this level, but you'll also have a 2-week reversal, which is something I teach people that work with me that want to learn how to trade. All you do is look at this week's candle and count back 2 and go to the Friday close, which was 102.72. So if we close over the trend line and then also confirm it with a 2-week reversal above that close by Friday's close of 102.72, you're going to have a 2-week reversal, and then I think the dollar rally could get on board and really start to go. Last week I talked about the yen had a chance to make a move up towards that 134 level, and we got close enough for government work. So that was on Monday, and that it was much more sturdy than the dollar. So the yen had a big move. It got to within 25 pips of this target. Target was talked about in here when it was putting in a higher low. So it's also a possibility if the dollar makes a new low that the yen doesn't. That would be a buy in the yen for me if that occurs. If the dollar makes new lows and the yen holds 131, I would go with it. So the alternative case, and this is where you have to have your stops in on euro, and I'm going with euro because today euro's weaker than cable. Euro's up 28 with cable up 54. Actually, the strength is in the Aussie, which is unusual since it's been lagging all the way. And I think there's big resistance in Aussie in another, we have the RBA tonight, so I wouldn't do anything there, but I'd be considering selling rallies up around 68. I still don't think this was the bottom at 5.5. So let's move on to what's happening in gold. Gold looks like it wants to blast to one more new high, one more thrust, that this could be a wave 4 triangle, and that we get one more move above the high that we had here to complete. This would be wave 5 before you get a better correction. If you're a trader, that's something to do. They are turning the gold silver ratio in a pretty good way. I mean, look at I got squeezed. I was wrong. I thought that we were going to bottom the gold silver ratio around 84, but it just kept going. But it's been a long time since you've seen gold up 8 and silver down 25. And that's a pretty ugly candle. You guys know I've been looking for a top all the way back from here and have tried some shorts here. I still think, we didn't take out the high. It's recovered, probably over 78%. So we'll see. If we start taking out 2350, which was today's lows, we could have a pretty good liquidation down to 22. I do think that we're getting closer in the S&Ps to a sell zone. I'd like to see some divergences take place on some shorter time frames, like 2 hour. We'd have to pull back and then go up because, this is confirmed on the 2. It's confirmed on the 4 as well. Okay, so we need a little pullback, and then I'm thinking between 41.50, 41.80, and I'll be wrong over 42. I'm going to be looking for some shorts. The reason is, besides what's been happening in NASDAQ, there are some things that are showing some weakness under the system, under the hood of the car. And that would be things like CAT, where I talk about a dead cat bounce in CAT. And I still think that's what we're having there. We'll see if we're able to. Here we go. Here's CAT. So you had this big break, and this was the second lower high. And actually, CAD held together, making new highs longer than the rest of the market. So it was a bastion of strength. So that's when you were talking about, we needed those tractors. So maybe construction is slowing down a little bit. This looks like just a corrective bounce after these two breaks. So I think CAT's a sell candidate when the S&Ps are about at 41.5. Even the strength is starting to diverge a little bit. Microsoft has been a leader, and we have its second drive to a top up here in Microsoft. I'd start being careful here for some type of diverging top. Maybe this is drive 2. We get a pullback, then one more shot up. Want to look at a couple more things I just want to show you that show some internal weakness. So let's look at best of breed, Goldman Sachs. These banks are just recovering in what a lot of Elliottians would call wave 4, which implies there's another low to come. So Goldman, broke down under 340. Could it get back to 340? Sure, it could. But this was an impulsive move to the downside. So like I was saying, it's a bit of a dead cat bounce, and that's why I use cat as the example. You don't want to buy dead cat bounces, you want to get short. So there are certain sectors in the market that are looking heavy. Of course, the semis have been really carrying it, and I'm starting to turn negative on the crypto sector. So we'll see what happens if coin could fill the gap. And let's wrap it with the story of the day. The story of the day is OPEC and Russia. And the Saudis are no friends of the United States. And this is one of the biggest gaps I've seen in oil. It was unexpected as far as I'm concerned. I didn't know that they were going to be this aggressive. But you usually don't see gaps like this in oil. And this will be no help for Jay Powell at all. It'll be no help for him because, we've been able to benefit from oil declining since the invasion of Ukraine. And this was the invasion. So even if your gas prices didn't go down a lot, they at least moderated. And the fact that they moderated has been helping inflation numbers come down. If this is, it almost feels like an embargo like we had in the 70s, only they'll let us have it, but they keep squeezing already weak consumers with higher prices. And if this gap holds, we could see 90. We get over 90, who knows? So, it's not a very positive cocktail of having banking problems and inflation problems at the same time, exacerbated by supply cuts. So this is going to be a big story going forward. Everyone, have a great day trading. To me, the dollar is key. May not turn until later this week. Keep an eye on what's happening this Thursday with the president of Taiwan coming to Los Angeles to meet Speaker McCarthy. We'll see if the Chinese are all there on their threats or not. And I think that you could be looking for some type of topping action in the S&Ps, another 50 handles higher or so, and watch the dollar. The dollar's a wrecking ball. And if the dollar does turn, everything could turn south, with perhaps the exception of TLT. So if you put together the dollar turning good and if bonds turn good, it doesn't sound like risk on to me. So time will tell as always. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See you in the room.